remember when the Joker movie came out and the corporate press freaked out about it. A lot of influencers and corporations, through their mouthpiece of journalists, were talking about how the movie is going to be evil, how it's going to bring about violence. Like, they unified in their voice and created a massive moral panic about the Joker movie. And the movie ends up winning an Oscar, despite the fact that it wasn't very original. I've seen movies like it before, but in today's culture, it's not really progressive to have such a movie, because it shows that Western culture right now is a joke. You're not supposed to laugh at it. You're supposed to take it seriously and get on with the program. So what is the joke? Well, the joke is that there are certain people, certain members of the community that want to fix America. They want to fix racism, which is a horrible plight upon human history. They want to get rid of it. And a lot of people buy their books. A lot of people cherish these saviors and their words of wisdom. And that's the joke. Because the reality is that these are millionaires. These are people with a lot of money. The 1%, like the left used to call it. And they are looking down upon the plebeians. They are looking down upon the working class. They are looking down upon the average Joe. And it's all about making money. It's all about making a lot of money. Because it's one thing to make some money. It's one thing, you got a job, and of course, you have to pay the bills. Like that is one thing. But when you end up being a millionaire from the grifting that you're doing, it's a joke. I mean, have you read this lady's book? Did you have a corporation forcing you to read it? Because if not, I'll tell you something about it. Literally, in the beginning, she admits to being a racist. She confesses in the beginning, her own words. No one tries to get her fired because of it. No one tries to get her canceled because of it. No, she gets to speak at universities. And she doesn't speak for free, mind you. She is paid over $12,000 for 2 hours of her time. Have you ever get paid half that much for 2 hours of your time? Is this, there are people laying bricks out there in the cold right now. There are plumbers. There are even doctors that do not get paid $12,000 for their time. And you know what the real joke is? Like, this is when, like there's two punchlines that are involved in this. Number one is that I'm the problem for pointing it out. Right? Like, you're not supposed to point it out. You're not supposed to talk about it, because then you're problematic. It's like, how dare you talk about something like this? How dare you even present the issue like this? I'm probably a racist just because I'm talking about how a white woman grifts the living shit out of universities. And you know what? Like, the Americans, they're like, oh, well, university is expensive. There's a lot of money to pay for a university. Well, no shit when they're throwing it away like this. Do you know that a diversity officer at some of these universities get paid more than $300,000 per year? Is that not frivolous spending? Is that like the university not throwing away money in a time where most people on the left are worried about having to spend way too much money for a student loan? But no one talks about it. They talk about the 1%, the 1%, but they never talk, okay, who is the 1%? Who are these people that you're talking about it? Are the universities part of the poor? Are the universities part of the working class now? Are they the ones that are at the bottom of society? No, they have tenure. Very interesting, right? A position where you can't get fired from anymore. You're for life. Who else amongst the common mortals get to benefit for a position for life? Maybe the Pope, right? Like, the Pope is elected for life. But everyone else can't do that. Everyone else is worried that they might lose their job. Everyone else is worried that they might not be able to put food on the table. That is real life concerns that people are facing with. And of course, I get a little bit upset when I see something like this. And just to give you another punchline, right? Apparently, another lady which is supposed to have a speech at the same university, she goes by the name of Channing Brown, and she only gets paid $7,500 for it. What is the outrage? What is the outrage? Because I thought all about the wokeism, and even in Di Angelo's book, talks about how white people get paid more than brown people for the same job. Why isn't Di Angelo talking about, why isn't she saying anything about this? She gets paid $12,000 for the speaking, and another woman that's brown gets paid $7,500 by the institution that talk about ending racism. How is this not funny? You're not supposed to laugh, by the way. You're supposed to be serious. And you're supposed to not point it out. Do you know what else I can laugh about? Like, do you want to get another punchline? So these ladies, they get paid a lot of money from those students that I understand are being oppressed by the student loans. All right? Those students, they pay money to the university. The university squanders it for people like her. And what is the progress? Like, that's what I want to know. Where is the progress? Like, what is the study that's going to say, all right, so at this university, at Wisconsin-Madison University, there was 80% racism. 80%. But after Robin Di Angelo descended from the heaven, we paid her $12,750 for a speech. And after she spoke, the racism went down severely. Because I'll tell you something, right? When I was at the University of Medicine, I volunteered for a program that would raise awareness about hepatitis A. And myself and a couple of other colleagues, we went to various schools and high schools, along many others, and it was a national program, and we went there and we talked to the kids about how to avoid contacting hepatitis A, what are the signs that they might look for, like how to know if someone is sick, that type of thing. Do you know what the university did the next year? They did another study to look at the number of cases from hepatitis to see if they dropped because of what we did. They wanted to see how effective this public awareness is. So they took the study from 2 years ago. They looked at the number of patients with hepatitis, and then they looked 2 years later to see if there was a drop. And you know what? There actually was. But like that's how you quantify. That's how you see if the study is actually successful, if the money is well spent. Because that thing, with all the students that went from school to school, that costed some money. I don't know how much, but it was some money invested, and they had to answer for it. Not here, though. Not here. This is just taking a shovel and putting the money down a black hole. Just burning it. Just literally burning it. They talk about having lectures on anti-racism and refugee. Want to know another punchline? You want to know something else that's funny? Apparently, they have like this forum, which is run for 2 decades and has over 1,000 people attending. And this year, because of the pandemic, it was streamed entirely on Zoom. And almost every event from the 2-day forum you can find online, except for the panel of Robin Di Angelo. Do you know why you cannot find her panel on seeing the racial water? Because her lawyers claim it's intellectual property, bigot. That's why you can't find. Like everyone else, all the common morals, they get to put their thing online and you can view it. But if you want to see the racial water, oh, that's tough. That's tough. I mean, looking at how much she charges, $12,750 to flap her mouth. Yeah, I can see the intellectual property is very important. Again, she is trying to end racism, right? But intellectual property is intellectual property. Capitalism is capitalism. This is a woman who complains about capitalism, by the way. These are progressive people that constantly talk about social justice and making sure that capitalism is being held to account. They prefer socialism, if it was up to them. They would prefer the government to run things. Yeah, I'm pretty sure they would prefer the government to run things because the taxpayer has no say where his money is going. At least the common plebeians can say no and refuse to purchase her book. But she bypasses that by going directly to universities. I mean, the university students don't really get much of a say in who gets to be the speaker and not. But this is like the funny thing. It's being presented as a front, as if it's to fight racism. And if you disagree with it, if you look into it, if you're pointing out, it's like, look, there's too much money in this and they're being thrown away. Like, wouldn't it be better if $12,750 would go away to some charity that looks for some poor folks You know, like you would much better do by taking this money in Detroit and feeding the homeless there, or in California, yeah? You know, like in these Democrat cities, just feed the homeless there. Look how many homeless people you could feed with $12,750. You would do a much better thing to the world instead of giving it to a millionaire to talk for a couple of hours. But like, this is it. This is just the rich to feel good. This is the wealthy, the bourgeoisie to feel good about themselves, to actually think like they're doing something. You know, back in my day, I think I could even say it now, and back in my day, when people wanted to feel good about themselves, when the rich wanted to feel good about themselves, they would donate to some charity. They would go down into some soup factory and volunteer some hours of their time. Sure, they wouldn't change the world, but at least it was something tangible. At least some poor homeless person would have a filled belly, and they would be like, you know what? Yeah, at least I got a free meal out of it. But no, not anymore. Now it's all about just self-congratulating each other and thinking that they're changing society by having millionaires lecture the poor folk. Yeah. Not to mention, like, I even know a couple of people that work in corporate and they're forced to read this book by the HR department. I have to wonder, because I know a couple, all right? So it's not like, it's just a question. You know, I'm not saying it's happened, it's a question. Her book apparently is like the bestseller. Just how many companies told their employees to read her book? Like, is it really a natural thing? Like, it's a grassroots thing? Like, did people actually went and purchased her book because they wanted to? Or is it because they were compelled by their bosses and by the corporate? That's a good question to ask. Of course, no one is going to ask it. Because again, like, just by asking it, you get called racistic. I am willing to bet that this is going to be what people are going to complain in this video. You know, that it's a racist video for me even looking at it and talking about the money. You know, even though I don't even address her book or everything like that. Just I wonder, where is this money going? Why is she worth so much cash? And why is it that when I see people on the left with the hammer and sickle and the black flag and the rainbow flag and all of these signifiers, the paraphernalia that they put on full display on their Twitter bios, like Christians used to put on big golden crucifixes around their neck in order to show everyone else how devoted they are, why is it that these people always complain that why is a football player making millions of dollars? Why is a rapper making billions of dollars, but some hospital worker isn't? Why are they complaining? Why is this lady making that much money? At least, you know, someone like Messi can be quantified in his contribution to society because he plays good football, he entertains a lot of people, and other companies who want eyeballs on their product take advantage of that entertainment and put ads. At least I can say exactly, you can do a study and see just how much someone like Messi changes the world. But how many people did Robin Di Angelo deracialize? Like, how many KKK members did she deconvert? How many far-righters has she brought into the light and managed to bring on the correct path? Who's going to make a study about that? Because at the end of the day, there's a lot of money at stake, and no one talks about it. And when I look about the things that she's complaining, the lack of equality and equity, yeah, it sounds kind of bad when a brown woman gets paid $7,500 for doing the exact same job like she does. Let me know what you think, and I'll see you guys in the comment section. Take care.